Hello, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm so glad you stopped by. This is a place for those who love spine-chilling stories, eerie locations, and the thrill of the unknown. Whether you're a seasoned paranormal enthusiast or just someone curious about what lies beyond the veil, I've got something special in store for you today. We're diving deep into the heart of one of America's most overlooked yet deeply haunted states, Colorado. From the towering peaks of the Rockies to the desolate ghost towns that dot the landscape, Colorado has long been associated with rugged beauty and frontier history. But beneath its picturesque scenery lies a darker truth, one filled with tragedy, mystery, and unexplained phenomena that have earned it a reputation as one of the most haunted places in the United States. From ghostly apparitions wandering through abandoned mining camps to spectral figures seen drifting through historic hotels, Colorado's haunted legacy stretches far beyond its natural wonders. Today, we begin our exploration of the most haunted places in Colorado, uncovering the dark histories behind these infamous sites and hearing first-hand accounts from those who have dared to enter. Some of these locations have drawn the attention of paranormal investigators, while others remain shrouded in local folklore passed down through generations. Whether you believe in ghosts or simply enjoy a good scare, there's no denying that Colorado holds secrets that refuse to be forgotten. So, if you're ready to face the unknown, grab your flashlight, settle in, and let's begin our journey into the depths of Colorado's most terrifying locations. The origins of fear, tragedy, mystery, and the supernatural haunted locations across the United States often share common threads: tragic events, historical trauma, and inexplicable occurrences that defy logical explanation. Colorado, with its rich frontier past and countless ghost towns left in the wake of the gold rush, is particularly fertile ground for such legends. Many of the state's most notorious hauntings stem from incidents of violence, betrayal, and sudden death, all of which contribute to the lingering sense of unease that pervades these places. Whether these disturbances are the result of residual energy imprinted onto the land or something more sinister remains a subject of debate, but one thing is certain: those who visit often leave changed, carrying the weight of their experiences long after they've stepped away from the site. One of the primary reasons Colorado is home to so many haunted locations is its history of hardship and loss. During the late 19th century, waves of settlers, miners, and prospectors flooded into the region in search of fortune, only to find themselves facing brutal winters, disease, and violent conflicts. Entire towns were built overnight, thriving for a few years before being abandoned when the mines ran dry or violence rendered them uninhabitable. These ghost towns, now eerily silent and frozen in time, are said to harbor the spirits of those who once lived and died within their borders. Locals speak of strange occurrences, whispers carried on the wind, shadowy figures watching from empty windows, and the distant sound of horses galloping through deserted streets despite knowing no living creature should be present. Beyond the remnants of failed settlements, Colorado's haunted legacy extends to its historic buildings and landmarks. Many of the state's oldest hotels, hospitals, and theaters have become hotspots for paranormal activity, with staff and visitors alike reporting encounters that range from unsettling to downright terrifying. Cold spots appear without warning, disembodied voices call out from empty hallways, and some claim to have seen full-bodied apparitions staring back at them from the corners of their vision. Whether these experiences stem from psychological suggestion, environmental factors, or something truly supernatural, the sheer volume of consistent reports makes it difficult to dismiss the idea that something lingers within these walls. As we explore Colorado's most haunted places, we'll uncover the tragic events that led to these enduring legends, hear from those who have faced the unknown firsthand, and examine the investigations that have attempted to shed light on the mysteries that persist. Whether you believe in the supernatural or simply enjoy a good scare, one thing is undeniable: Colorado's past refuses to be forgotten, and the echoes of history continue to haunt those who dare to listen. The phantom residence of the Stanley Hotel, perched high in the Rocky Mountains near Estes Park, the Stanley Hotel stands as one of Colorado's most iconic, and allegedly haunted, landmarks. Built in 1909 by F.O. Stanley, the co-inventor of the Stanley steamer automobile, the hotel was designed to provide a luxurious retreat for wealthy travelers seeking respite in the crisp mountain air. However, Over the course of more than a century, the hotel has gained a reputation for something far more chilling than comfort and elegance. With its sprawling corridors, grand ballroom, and sweeping views of the surrounding wilderness, the Stanley Hotel exudes an aura of timeless beauty. But those who stay within its walls often describe experiences that suggest the past is never truly gone. The origins of the hotel's haunting can be traced back to its earliest days. While F.O. Stanley himself was known for his eccentricities, he reportedly refused to install indoor plumbing until the 1920s. The true source of its ghostly legend may lie in the tragic death of a guest named Elizabeth Wilson. According to local lore, Elizabeth was a young woman who had come to the hotel for a romantic getaway with her fiancé. When he abruptly left her without explanation, she reportedly threw herself from the fourth-floor balcony, landing in the fountain below. Though records dispute whether this event actually occurred, the story persists, and guests and staff alike claim to have encountered her spirit. Visitors staying in room 418, where Elizabeth is believed to have stayed, frequently report hearing soft sobbing late at night, even though the room is completely empty. Others claim to see the faint outline of a woman in white standing near the fountain, only to vanish when approached. Another well-known figure tied to the hotel's haunting is F.O. Stanley himself, whose presence seems to linger long after his death in 1940. Staff members working late hours have described seeing a tall man in early 20th century attire walking through the halls, inspecting rooms with the same meticulous care he showed during his lifetime. Some say he appears only to those who are not properly maintaining the property, serving as a silent reminder that he still watches over his beloved hotel. Others insist that his spirit is responsible for the frequent sightings of a mysterious gentleman who checks in under false names before disappearing without a trace. Perhaps the most famous ghost associated with the Stanley Hotel is the Phantom Bellboy, a mischievous spirit who delights in playing tricks on guests and employees. Numerous visitors have reported hearing knocking on their doors late at night, only to open them and find no one outside. Some have claimed to receive phone calls from non-existent guests requesting services like extra towels or room service, only to discover that no one else was staying in the building at the time. Employees working alone in the kitchen or laundry room have described hearing the unmistakable sound of a rolling bell cart moving through the halls, despite knowing that none were in use. Some speculate that the Phantom Bellboy is merely a remnant of the hotel's past, forever performing his duties in the afterlife, while others believe he is a playful spirit with unfinished business tied to the establishment. Paranormal investigators have conducted multiple studies at the Stanley Hotel, capturing electronic voice phenomena, EVPs, and thermal anomalies that suggest the presence of unseen entities. Thermal imaging has revealed human-shaped heat signatures in areas where no living person was present, while audio recordings have captured distorted whispers calling out names and issuing cryptic warnings. Whether these disturbances stem from residual energy imprinted onto the environment, or something far more sinister remains uncertain. What is undeniable, however, is that the Stanley Hotel continues to attract those who seek answers about the supernatural, drawing in both skeptics and believers alike. As we delve deeper into the mysteries of this historic landmark, one thing becomes increasingly clear: those who once lived and worked within its walls may not have truly left. Whether their spirits remain due to unfinished business, unresolved grief, or something entirely unknown, the Stanley Hotel stands as a testament to the thin veil between the living and the dead. Echoes of the past. The ghostly legends of the Oxford Hotel. Nestled in the heart of downtown Denver, the Oxford Hotel stands as a testament to Colorado's frontier past. Opened in 1891, this grand establishment was once a hub for railroad tycoons, cattle barons, and Wild West adventurers seeking luxury amidst the rough-and-tumble world of the American West. With its ornate architecture, hand-painted ceilings, and legendary cigar lounge, the Oxford Hotel became a symbol of prosperity and refinement. However, beneath its polished surface lies a history steeped in tragedy, mystery, and unexplained phenomena that have contributed to its reputation as one of Denver's most haunted locations. Among the most frequently reported apparitions at the Oxford Hotel is the spirit of a young woman dressed in Victorian-era clothing, who is often seen wandering the second floor near the former ladies' parlor. Witnesses describe her as pale and sorrowful, her expression frozen in anguish as she paces the hallway before vanishing into thin air. Local legend suggests that she was a guest who took her own life following a tragic love affair, leaving behind a restless soul trapped between worlds. Some guests staying in nearby rooms claim to hear the faint sound of sobs echoing through the walls in the dead of night, even when no one else is present. Others report waking up to the sensation of someone gently brushing their hair, only to find no one beside them. Another well-documented ghostly presence is that of a mysterious businessman, often seen wearing a pinstriped suit and a fedora, roaming the lower levels of the hotel, particularly near the basement area where the original boiler room once stood. Unlike the sorrowful young woman, this figure exudes an air of authority, appearing only to staff members who are slacking in their duties. One employee recalled how, while taking an unauthorized break in the storage room, he felt an overwhelming sense of being watched. As he turned around, he saw a man in period clothing standing silently in the doorway, arms crossed and eyes locked on him. Before he could apologize, the man vanished, leaving behind only the lingering scent of tobacco smoke. Others have reported similar encounters, describing the businessman as a guardian of the hotel's legacy, ensuring that nothing disrupts the grandeur of the establishment even in death. Perhaps the most unsettling tale comes from the hotel's famed cruise room, a 1930s-style bar that has remained largely unchanged since its opening. Patrons and bartenders alike have spoken of strange occurrences in the bar, glasses tipping over for no reason, music playing from the jukebox when no one has touched it, and the distinct feeling of being watched even in an empty room. Some believe that the spirits of old-time gangsters and bootleggers still gather in the shadows, reliving the illicit dealings of the Prohibition era. Others claim that the ghost of a former bartender lingers near the counter, ensuring that every drink is poured correctly and every patron is treated with respect. Whether these experiences stem from historical trauma imprinted onto the very foundation of the hotel or something far more inexplicable, one thing is certain: those who walk the halls of the Oxford Hotel may not be alone. The past lingers here in ways that defy logic, reminding all who visit that history, especially when tinged with tragedy, never truly fades away. Investigating Colorado's most terrifying locations determined to uncover the truth behind Colorado's most haunted places, several paranormal investigation teams have ventured into the state's most notorious locations, armed with state-of-the-art equipment and an unwavering resolve to document whatever might be lurking in the shadows. Among the most notable expeditions was that of the Rocky Mountain Paranormal Research Society. One of the most chilling discoveries made by RMPRS was captured on a thermal imaging camera positioned near the second-floor hallway. At approximately 2:37 a.m., the footage showed a humanoid-shaped anomaly emerging from an empty room, moving slowly toward the center of the corridor before abruptly vanishing. What made this sighting particularly unsettling was that no visible figure appeared on the standard video feed. The entity was only detectable through thermal imaging, suggesting it either lacked a physical form or existed in a state beyond normal perception. The investigators, visibly shaken, attempted to communicate using a digital voice recorder, asking, "Who are you? Why are you here?" Moments later, one of their handheld meters spiked into the red zone, registering an unusually high reading. Simultaneously, the audio recorder picked up a distorted whisper stating, "We remember everything, we must stay." In addition to visual and auditory anomalies, the team documented multiple instances of unexplained cold spots throughout the hotel. Using thermometers and thermal cameras, they recorded drastic temperature drops in specific areas, sometimes plummeting by as much as 20 degrees within seconds. These cold zones were concentrated near the staircase and the former nursery, where local legends speak of children vanishing without a trace. Some speculate that these areas serve as portals for residual energy, carrying forward the emotions of those who once walked the halls. Another harrowing experience was experienced by a solo investigator who set up camp near the hotel's grand piano in the main lobby. He described waking in the middle of the night to the sound of faint music drifting through the air. Upon opening his eyes, he found himself staring at a woman in a flowing white dress seated at the piano, her fingers delicately gliding across the keys. As he reached for his flashlight, the music stopped, and the woman vanished before his eyes. Petrified, he hastily packed his gear and left the hotel, vowing never to return. Despite the skepticism surrounding paranormal investigations, the sheer volume of consistent reports and recorded anomalies makes it difficult to dismiss the idea that something unnatural lingers within Colorado's most haunted locations. Whether these experiences stem from residual energies, interdimensional phenomena, or something far more sinister remains uncertain. But for those who have witnessed the inexplicable firsthand, the question is no longer whether these places are haunted, it's what exactly is waiting in the darkness, watching and waiting. The psychological impact of Colorado's haunted places, fear, trauma, and the mind's response to psychological effects of visiting Colorado's most haunted locations extend far beyond the immediate sensations of fear and unease. For many who have explored these eerie places, the experience leaves lasting impressions that manifest in anxiety, sleep disturbances, and even paranoia long after they've left the premises. Psychologists and paranormal researchers alike have studied the impact of such environments on the human mind, seeking to understand why certain locations evoke such profound emotional responses. Some attribute these reactions to the power of suggestion. If a person enters a place expecting to encounter something supernatural, their brain becomes hyper-aware of every creak, whisper, or flicker of movement, interpreting them as signs of an unseen presence. Others propose that the location's eerie atmosphere triggers primal instincts, activating the fight-or-flight response as the subconscious perceives an unknown threat lurking in the shadows. However, for those who have had direct encounters with the unexplainable, the effects can be far more severe. Reports from individuals who have spent extended periods in these haunted spaces describe symptoms akin to post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, including flashbacks, intrusive thoughts, and an overwhelming sense of dread upon returning to the site. Some claim they have developed insomnia, plagued by nightmares that mirror their experiences, visions of shadowy figures watching from the darkness, disembodied voices calling out their names, and the sensation of an unseen force pulling them deeper into the unknown. Others have spoken of an inexplicable compulsion to return, as if drawn by something beyond their control, despite knowing the risks involved. One particularly unsettling case involved a group of college students who visited the Stanley Hotel for a late-night challenge. They claimed to have heard a child's laughter echoing through the halls, only to turn and find no one nearby. Days later, one of the students began experiencing hallucinations. He reported seeing a small figure darting through his peripheral vision, vanishing the moment he turned to look. His mental health deteriorated rapidly, leading to hospitalization and months of therapy. While doctors attributed his condition to heightened stress and sensory deprivation, he remained convinced that something had followed him home, lingering just beyond the reach of sight. These psychological effects raise important questions about the nature of fear and the way the human mind processes the unknown. Whether the hauntings are purely psychological or influenced by something beyond scientific understanding, one thing remains certain. Those who enter Colorado's haunted locations often leave changed, carrying the weight of their experiences long after they've stepped back into the light. The cultural significance of Colorado's haunted places, folklore, media, and urban legend beyond their reputations as hotspots for paranormal activity, Colorado's most haunted locations have taken on a life of their own within local folklore, media coverage, and urban legend. Over the years, these places have become symbols of fear and mystery, inspiring countless horror stories, documentaries, and even fictionalized accounts in literature and film. Their presence in pop culture has only fueled the intrigue surrounding them, drawing both skeptics and believers who hope to uncover the truth behind the myths. Local news outlets have covered these haunted sites extensively, often highlighting unsolved disappearances, strange occurrences, and eyewitness testimonies that add to their enigmatic allure. In the 1990s, a regional television station aired a documentary titled Shadows of the Rockies, which featured interviews with former residents, paranormal investigators, and even law enforcement officers who had responded to calls regarding suspicious activity near the Stanley Hotel. The documentary included grainy footage allegedly showing shadowy figures moving between the hotel's corridors. Literature has also played a significant role in cementing these haunted places' status as cultural phenomena. Several horror novels have drawn inspiration from their eerie reputations, weaving fictional narratives around real-life events and reported hauntings. One particularly popular book, Whispers in the Peaks, blends documented paranormal investigations with creative storytelling, portraying the Oxford Hotel as a gateway to another realm where lost souls are trapped in an endless cycle of torment. The novel's success led to a limited-run podcast series that reenacted the events described in the book, blending real interview clips with dramatized retellings that blurred the lines between fiction and reality. The internet has further amplified the mystique of these haunted locations, with forums, YouTube videos, and social media pages dedicated to sharing personal experiences and investigating their haunted reputations. Urban explorers frequently upload footage of their nighttime excursions, capturing everything from strange lights flickering in the distance to unexplained sounds that defy logical explanation. Some of these videos have gone viral, attracting millions of views and sparking debates about whether these places truly harbor something supernatural, or if the collective belief in their haunting has created a self-perpetuating cycle of fear. Despite the commercialization of their legends, these haunted locations remain deeply unsettling places for those who visit. Whether it is the power of suggestion, the influence of local folklore, or something far more inexplicable, one thing is certain: Colorado's most haunted places continue to capture the imagination of those who dare to explore their shadowy depths. Personal stories from those who survived Colorado's horrors for those who have experienced the horrors of Colorado's most haunted locations firsthand. The memories remain vivid, unsettling, and impossible to forget. Countless individuals have come forward over the years, recounting their encounters with the unknown, some hesitant to speak, fearing ridicule, while others share their stories in hopes of finding validation or understanding. These personal accounts paint a chilling picture of places where reality bends, time distorts, and the veil between the living and the dead feels perilously thin. One such account comes from Sarah Mitchell, a nurse who visited the Stanley Hotel with a group of friends in the summer of 2018. She described how the evening started innocently enough, with laughter and casual conversation as they wandered through the grand lobby. However, as they ventured deeper into the hotel, the atmosphere shifted dramatically. "It felt like the air got heavier," she recalled. "We couldn't explain it, but we all stopped talking at the same time, like we were afraid to make a sound." As they reached the second-floor landing, Sarah noticed something odd. Her phone, which had been fully charged, suddenly died, along with her friend's flashlight. "That's when we saw it," she whispered. "A figure standing at the end of the hallway. It wasn't moving, just staring at us." The group stood frozen, paralyzed by fear, as they tried to determine whether the figure was real or merely a trick of the dim lighting. "It looked human but wrong," Sarah explained. "Its arms were too long, and its head was tilted at an unnatural angle." Before anyone could react, the figure vanished into the shadows as quickly as it had appeared. Shaken, the group hurried back toward the main entrance, only to realize they had somehow ended up in a completely different part of the hotel, one they hadn't passed through on their way in. "We didn't know how we got there," she admitted. "It was like the hotel itself moved around us." Another harrowing experience was shared by Mark Alvarez, a security guard who worked the overnight shift patrolling the perimeter of the Oxford Hotel in the early 2000s. He described his usual routine as uneventful, filled with the usual sounds of the city outside, until one particularly quiet evening when he heard a child laughing in the distance. "At first I thought maybe some kid snuck in after hours," he said. "But the laugh kept going, getting louder and louder, like it was right behind me." He turned around, expecting to see a teenager hiding behind a pillar, but instead found himself staring into complete darkness. "There was no one there," he admitted, his voice trembling. And then the laughing stopped. From that point on, Mark claimed the area became increasingly unnerving. He reported seeing shadowy figures moving just beyond the edges of his flashlight beam, only to disappear when he tried to approach. On one occasion, he swore he saw a woman dressed in Victorian-era clothing standing near the entrance gate, watching him silently. When he blinked, she was gone. Eventually, the constant sense of being watched and the creeping dread that settled over him every night forced him to quit his job. "I don't care what people say," he insisted. "Something isn't right in that place." These stories, while differing in details, share a common thread. Each individual entered Colorado's haunted locations expecting a simple outing or routine work assignment, only to leave shaken by something they could neither explain nor escape. Whether these experiences stem from psychological suggestion, environmental anomalies, or something far more sinister, the impact on those who live them remains undeniable. For those who have faced the unknown within Colorado's most haunted places, the memory lingers, a haunting reminder that some places are best left undisturbed. The enduring mystery of Colorado's most haunted places. As we bring this chilling journey to a close, one thing remains abundantly clear: Colorado's most haunted places are more than just relics of the past. They are living testaments to history's darkest chapters, infused with the lingering echoes of those who once called them home. From the sorrowful apparition of the Victorian-era woman at the Oxford Hotel to the phantom footsteps and disembodied voices that haunt the halls of the Stanley Hotel, these locations continue to defy explanation, drawing in those who seek answers and leaving them with more questions than they arrived with. Whether you believe in the supernatural or prefer to attribute these experiences to psychological suggestion, environmental factors, or even urban myth, the sheer number of consistent reports from credible witnesses makes it difficult to dismiss these places outright. The personal accounts of those who have faced the unknown within their walls are too numerous and too similar to be ignored. Something lingers in the shadows of Colorado's most haunted places, whether it be the restless spirits of the past, residual imprints of trauma, or something far beyond our understanding remains a mystery. If you've enjoyed this exploration of one of the most terrifying states in the U.S., be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss another spine-chilling story. Whether you're a believer in the paranormal or simply fascinated by the power of fear and folklore, there's always more to uncover in the world of the unknown. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and remember, sometimes the scariest places are the ones that hold the deepest connections to history, where the past refuses to be forgotten.